Michael Nagy here with Jiggy Jag TV and DiscoveringBands.com. And for everyone watching, shares video on my channel and help support the awesome bands I feature. And today I'm here with Unitcode Machine. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you, sir?
Good, good. It's great to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I actually watch your show quite a bit. Well, I watch your videos quite a bit, and I wouldn't say show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to start off and say congratulations on your song Fight for reaching so high on the German alternative charts.
Yeah, number 8. I was actually really, one, I was really surprised, and 2, I was really happy. It was one of those moments, it was like, wow, okay, I've reached something that I wanted to achieve since I was younger. So.
And what would you say led to the success of that song so much?
That led to the success of the song? Well, frankly, promotion. My PR guy has done a really good job promoting my material. I've been doing music for 20 years, and with the way that I've kind of grown as an artist, and I've incorporated a lot. So Fight specifically came from a music theory challenge that I have with Dwayne Dassing from Mentello and the Fixer, if you're familiar with that project. So we go back and forth on a kind of like a weekly basis where we challenge each other with a music theory idea. So it's like, well, okay, we're going to do something in Locrian, and you need to have this with a specific time signature, and you got to do a drum breakdown, and then we just kind of send it back and forth. And like the guitar part for that, like that, the intro piece for Fight came from that, and it just kind of spurred off into this like much larger like song. And it was, I was like, this is perfect. This is probably one of the best songs I've ever written. So I was like, yes, I must continue with this track.
Well, the whole album that just came out is incredible in itself as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked really, really hard on that. And surprisingly, it came together so quickly. I think I started initially I started writing this album back in shortly after I released Tyranny, but the vast majority of that material got scrapped. The only thing that actually survived that was Buy Me Now, which didn't even make it on Tyranny. It was on. I released it as a demo take on my like supplemental album Tyrant. But then I fleshed it out and made it and did more engineering and production work to it, and it became what it is now. But yeah, I basically scrapped an entire album, and just from shortly after the Texas power grid going down, I wrote an entire album, and I was like, "This is so good! I'm going to have to release this." and by the end of I'd say by the end of April, I had like 8 tracks in place. One of them being the Fight, obviously, and Buy Me Now, and then the other one being that was really a catalyst to kind of get the album moving was Drift Away, which features Emily Rohn from CHIASM. Yeah.
Awesome. And you want to go into a little more details on the album, like kind of the whole album concept and theme?
So yeah, this album that I put together was basically kind of it was a breaking point for me. I had my grandfather passed in 2020. My friends, I had friends that I had lost. I had things that I wanted to say to people that I didn't say, and the timing was off. And there were things that I should have done, but I didn't do. And it kind of encapsulates a sense of regret and loss, and then parts of it kind of have that whole self-destructive nature, because at a certain point throughout the 2020, I started drinking pretty heavily. I've scaled that back a bit, but it helped to kind of get me in a position where I was writing more from me and less from the project, if that makes any sense. So these are like, it helped me strip away the mantle that is Unitcode Machine, and display more of what I am as a musician, as a person.
Yeah, I can tell it's a very personal album.
Yes. Well, I'm huh?
I was gonna say, and your new single, "Falling Down," is amazing too.
Oh yes, thank you, thank you. That was definitely one of those songs that, like, I had a friend that we kind of grew apart due to some personal matters. The way that she had some thinking in regards to how I needed to communicate with her. And it just kind of ended up in a situation where it was like, well, okay, but every time I've tried to talk to you, you pushed me away. So, and when I needed help the most, they weren't there. And that's kind of the essence of what Drift Away is as a song. But the video that we did that was for this was filmed in Denver with my good friend Mark Sousa of the band Voice Coil, and the Gravity Core is this new project that he's working on right now. But yeah, I went up in July and we filmed that, and he got it to me just in time so that way we could drop it at the same time as the album released. And I'm really happy with the work that he did. It's a fantastic video. There are things about it that I don't like, but it's mostly me. His work is fantastic. I need to lose a few pounds.
Great song.
Thank you, thank you. I love it. That's one of my personal favorites off the album. And for artists, we want to, like, not we want to, but the artists generally tend to have like favorite children in regards to songs, and Falling Down is definitely one of the ones that I'm like, yeah, I did a really good job on this one. You're one of my favorite kids.
And I want to ask, any plans for any live shows coming up?
Yeah, so we are right now. I'm in talks with a band called Finite Automata from the Atlanta area. They want to go ahead and put a tour together, and I have been in discussion with them. Actually, I was speaking to them just before we had our conversation about logistics. But we're looking at trying to go ahead and put an actual tour together sometime in what is it? Late spring, early summer 2022. We might get some local shows. We might do some stuff before then, but right now we're just kind of like focused on the logistics of getting a show together, or a proper tour together for this album.
Great band. I actually did an interview with them like a couple years ago.
Oh, great. Yeah, Dom's a great guy. I catch his streams on Twitch all the time.
Yeah, probably good to wait with the touring just to see what's going on with everything, because I know now some bands are unfortunately starting to cancel again. So
yeah, the whole Delta variant is not something that's being conducive to getting out on the road and doing things. And so that's why we were kind of like, okay, late May, early June, we might be able to do something. Hopefully by that time, everyone will be vaxxed like they should be. First you get the vaccine, then you get the shows. That's kind of how it works.
So do you think maybe you'll write some new music then before starting a tour?
Yeah, actually, so I'm working right now. I'm actually working on a song that is being co-written with Dwayne Dassing from Mentello and the Fixer, and hopefully we'll be able to go ahead and get at least kind of I'm thinking of like maybe 3 or 4 songs on top of kind of as a combination of like 3 or 4 new songs with an entire remix album, kind of package the two together, because I want to go ahead and I want to take the songs from Themes for Collapsing Empire and put them on, and reach out to some of the friends that I have and get some more prestigious remixers, and like Klaus Larson or something like that, and have them do some remixes for me, and then release that as kind of a compendium. I like to kind of bookend my album, so it's that where I have the one out, like the album, and then the compendium of things that didn't make the album, or like tell a different story.
Cool. And do you have some other artists you'd like to work with in the future?
Oh, artists that I'd like to work with in the future. I'd have to default with people that I really look up to as an artist. I'd like to work with Ted Phelps from Imperative Reaction on maybe a track or two. Speaking and locally, Leah Lane from Rose Garden Funeral Party. I like her voice a lot. She's got like this, like not a baritone female voice that's really great, and I'd like to kind of do like some atmospheric, like, hey, let's do this like really weird synth lead stuff. I'm trying to think of anybody else who I'd like to work with. I would say if I were to work with anyone else, it would be Jim Marcus. I like what he does with Go Fight a lot, and I would definitely like to work with him as well, like on a track or something like that. That would be really cool.
Awesome. Well, if they're listening to this interview, hopefully you can make that happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
Awesome. Now, if people want to look you up online on social media, get your music, how do they do that?
So the easiest way to go ahead and pull up my stuff is either through unitcode.net. That directs directly to my Bandcamp. Or if you don't like using Bandcamp, I have a link tree. So that's linktr.ee linktree/Unicode, and that will get you all of the information for like my Amazon Music, etc., Spotify, so on and so forth.
Cool. Well, look forward to what you have coming up in the future, and it's good talking with you and everybody.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
And for everyone watching, I've linked his music in the video description. I want to ask, how did the name Unicode Machine come to be?
Oh, so Unicode Machine, the name came into existence from ironically my high school days. When I initially started the project, a friend of mine, I met this guy. His name's Roman. Roman and I have been friends for over 20 years. But I met him and I was like, hey, my name's Eric. And he's like, I know too many Erics. You're going to have to call yourself something other than Eric. I'm like, okay, how about Machine? So to him and his brother and a number of other people, I'm still actually known as Machine because there were too many Erics, and he knew like 20 or 30 different Erics. It's crazy. So the Unicode part of it, that came around from like we were driving around one day listening to like Frontline Assembly or something like that, and we had gotten into the discussion of like one of the like Unit 187 as being a side project and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so as a joke, I was like, well, I guess I could just call myself Unicode Machine. And he's like, I guess you could. That's kind of funny. I'm like, yeah, wait, I actually like that. So I was like, yeah, we're going to use Unicode Machine as being the name of the project, and I just stuck with it since I was 18, so many years ago.